Boxy 6, How to Become a Wizard. There is a wizard who can leap over a mere 100-meter high pole whenever he wants to. He is a source of both marvel and envy, and it makes us wonder if we could ever have such powers. We wonder if his power was just tossed to him out of the blue. One day while he was meditating, at first this wizard could not jump any farther than most of us, perhaps a meter or so, but he set a goal to leap over a 100-meter high pole, and he practiced every day, getting better little by little. He devoted all of his time to this one effort. Perhaps he trained himself by leaping over millet stalks that grew taller day by day. Maybe that was how he became a wizard, a specialist, an expert in his field. It is easy to have the misconception that wizards were born that way. But if that were the case, then experts would be born. Experts and chairmen would be born chairmen. But experts and chairmen were not born that way. They just worked harder at becoming professional, just like the wizard. Each person has infinite capabilities, and the only difference between wizards and ordinary people is that wizards use their latent capabilities and work harder at whatever they are doing. It is not very humble of me to say so, but I have been given the nickname Wizard. Perhaps I am called this because I often talk about that. Leaping Wizard I mentioned, but the name was given to me by those around me, I think. Because I have the unrelenting desire to become an expert at everything I get involved in, I must admit that I do not dislike the name. All my life I have wanted to be an expert, a specialist. I majored in economics in college, but my first job was in an unrelated area, textiles. After 10 years at it, I had become a textile wizard. Although I left the textile field some time ago, even today I can feel a piece of cloth and tell exactly what kind of product it is for, the materials that went into its production, and the production processes involved, and I am still a wizard when it comes to matching color and texture combinations. But my wizardry is not limited just to textiles. As business began to expand, I worked hard at becoming an expert in many fields: machinery, automobiles, finance, shipbuilding, and even hotels. I made it a point to become an expert in each of these fields, and this expertise made it possible to extend existing business areas and to expand into new business areas. As a result of all these efforts in various fields, I have gradually become an expert in management as well. When I talk with the executives under me, I can tell immediately from their facial and verbal behavior how well they have researched their respective areas. With only one or two questions, I can determine the extent of their expertise. We are living in a time of specialization. Things are changing on a basis. Life is becoming more complicated and diversified, and the need for specialists is becoming apparent in more and more areas. Things have gradually changed from the time when one person could handle everything. Even if one person could physically handle both the volume and details of all the work, time would not permit him or her to do so. The result has been development of a highly specialized division of labor that has greatly increased efficiency. As a result, we now require experts in every field. So in today's world, you have to become a total expert in your chosen field. This does not mean that you should ignore everything else. In favor of your chosen field, you need a variety of interests and a lot of good common sense. You have to be, in addition to an expert, well-rounded. The world is a big place and life is filled with diversity. If you confine yourself to your own little world, you become like a frog confined to a well, unaware of the rest of the world around you. I am concerned nowadays that we are so busy digging a wide well as quickly as possible that we have forgotten about the depth. Yet to dig deep enough, you need a wide enough plot of land before you start to dig. If you really want to dig deep, at first you have to dig broadly. If you think only of the depth, it may seem on the first full shovel that you will be able to dig quite deeply, but just dig a bit deeper, and you find that you cannot get down any farther without the necessary breath. So give yourself plenty of room before you start to dig. A person majoring in microbiology does not have to become an expert in methods of airplane wing assembly, but whether your major is microbiology, medicine, or literature, you still need a certain breadth of general knowledge. I am talking about being cultured and well-versed, which guarantees certain depth in your specialty. You need a broad understanding of such things as philosophy, etiquette, and ethics. Today, power and prestige are not guaranteed separately. That era has passed. Power today comes from being a specialist. Prestige and recognition now come from being the only person who can do a certain job. Why are doctors respected? My observation is that they have always received respect and recognition because they are specialists. Why are such authors as Dostoevsky, Camus, and Kafka still remembered? Because they were specialists in literature and reached heights in literature that others did not. They are all people who did something that other people could not do or did not do. So become a specialist, an expert, a wizard. Try to become very best in your field, no matter what it is. And if you are wondering how to go about it, let me advise you that you should immerse yourself completely in whatever it is. Ideas, wisdom, and perception are given to those who pour themselves into something totally to take a rest from your efforts for a while. In order to get a fresh idea is foolishness. Writing comes from the end of a pen, and you have to write and write in order to get ideas. In the same way, creative ideas and perceptions in other fields also come from immersion. Genius depends 99% on effort, and to become a genius in your field, you have to immerse yourself.